Good evening, folks. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me for the second time today. I love you too. Good night. That's my 3-year-old going to sleep. I always do these broadcasts at 8:30 p.m., hoping that he's asleep. But as he gets older, he wants to go to sleep later and later. So forgive that unprofessional interruption. I have 4 amazing entrepreneurs coming on this evening that will be sharing their stories, telling us what they're up to. And myself, and hopefully you as well, can help these entrepreneurs with any questions they have. Maybe they need a contact, maybe they need support, whatever it is that they need. I'm hoping between us tonight, we can help them. So for my first entrepreneur is already here in the waiting room. Just before I bring him in to say hello to you guys, I just want to do a few housekeeping things. First of all, tomorrow we are recording a podcast. And if you guys want to guess who we're interviewing tomorrow, it's someone very well known. Their net worth is over £200 million, and they have done some incredible things. If you can guess who it is, then you are welcome to tomorrow join in the broadcast, maybe even ask the entrepreneur a question. I almost accidentally slipped who they were then. But you will be able to join in our podcast tomorrow and ask that entrepreneur a question about his life. So do try to guess in the comments. Let me know if who you think it might be. In addition, we have just released last week's podcast, which was with William Reeve. One of the businesses he created, apart from Zoopla and Graze, were businesses he was involved in. He also created Love Films, which was sold to Amazon for £200 million, seems to be the theme number this evening. He didn't take home £200 million from that sale, but he did take away a lot of experience and a big check. And he tells us his story, how he built that business up and what he did in this week's podcast. So you can grab that through goodluckpod.com. Links in the bio, of course, Spotify, Apple Music, all the normal channels. We just put up some new content for you guys as well. How to hack TikTok, if there is such a way. How to build your brand, not a business. How to raise money. How to start a business with no money. It's all up right now on our YouTube channel. So that's the information just to let you know for this week, what's going on. And I want to now bring Jack on, who's our first entrepreneur this evening, who's going to tell us a little bit about what he's up to. And as I say, we're going to try and help him. Hey, Jack.
Hiya, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well.
Good to see you, mate. Tell us, tell the audience that doesn't know you a little bit about what you're up to, and then how we can help you, how I can help you.
Cool. So currently I'm employed. I started a company roughly around 2 years ago. So it's an electrical contracting firm. And what I'm struggling with is basically what happened was I set up my business and then I moved house, changed the business name. So it was like starting again. What I struggle with is because I work full time and the hours are, I start at sort of like 4:30 in the morning and I don't usually get home till around 5 in the evening. So it's very difficult to build my business whilst I'm working those sorts of hours. What I found is that where I'm pushing and working straight from work, going to the evenings to my own private work, it is slowly getting bigger and better. But I'm struggling to make the move over to my business, where the demand on my current employment status is demanding more of me from there sort of thing. So I just kind of want some advice really on how you'd go about it, maybe what I can do more in improving it, building it a little bit better before I make that move sort of thing.
Yeah. It's a great question, and I want to say a great problem to have in a way.
Yeah.
You've got a job and
thing,
you've got a business that has a lot of potential by the sounds of it. So I guess it's a good problem, but it is also a big problem in a negative way, because you kind of get pulled both directions, right? You need the income from your job, and your business perhaps doesn't have that there to justify leaving the job, so you get a little bit caught out, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's exactly it. What happened was I was very young. I'm still young now, but I was very young when I got a mortgage. So my current employment status is I'm kind of tied to it until making that move. I can make the move, but then I would potentially have a pay cut at the same time. And that's where I'm a little bit stuck on what I need to do really.
Do you have kids?
I do, yes. I've got one young boy and another one on the way, and it stops there.
We say that. How old is your youngest now?
He's 18 months.
18 months. You've got another one on the way. Wow, congratulations. That's
Thank you
all
very much.
really exciting. But I've got one who's 3. You just heard him, I think. And you know, it's a big undertaking having a child. You know, I
Massively, yeah.
completely comprehended just how much, because in reality you've got 3 things, you know, as well as of course your partner in life, pulling at your time, and then there's the gap where you want some time for yourself, right? So your job, your business, your family, of course your partner, which you know, it just all, and then yourself. That's 5 things to try and do in a day, and so you know,
that's it. There's so many things going on as well, but not only that, education to me is really important. So I came out of school, went to like to do my A levels and things like that, and then I'm also doing a law degree at the minute as well. So I'm 3 years into that. So it's all very taxing. Literally every minute of the day is filled.
I admire you, and I'm judging you at the same time. You know, it's amazing you can do all of that. Imagine if you put all your energy into one thing at once.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I think I've took on a little bit too much.
Yeah, but you know, I always find myself, you know, without knowing you, sitting down together and like, you know, really kind of understanding what's got you to where you are now. I'm reluctant to say don't do all those things, because that's why I ask about your family. So, you know, you've got commitments, you've got responsibilities, you've got things that I'm not aware of, but I know one fact to be true though, that in the 68 businesses that I've invested in, and the businesses, 18 of the businesses I personally started, the ones that have worked are the ones where the people running them have been completely focused.
Yeah.
And any distractions in building those businesses for people, it's caused the business to either go slower, which is fine sometimes, or not work at all.
Yeah.
And so, what is your business? What is your let's call it your side hustle right now? What is it? What is your side hustle?
So that is my side hustle. It's my electrical contracting business. So it's called iWired. There is a website, and predominantly just providing electrical needs to domestic and some commercial sectors at the minute.
And it has no relation to your day job.
Yes, I'm an electrician to my day job, but no relation whatsoever to the current company I work for. So it's completely separate. They're my own clients, and
it's a bit like freelance versus employment, basically, right? So
basically, yeah.
Execution the same. Is what you do in the day the same as what you would do at night?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, if I could set up something else that I could possibly work from home or something like that, then I'd completely be interested in it. And my mind's always open to different things. So it's all about learning, and obviously having this chat with you, I'm kind of in the right place anyway. Looking in the right place. So yeah.
It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it? It's trying to figure out what you're meant to do. For me, I look at it like a jigsaw puzzle, just trying to get the pictures clear so I can understand how best to, you know, advise you. But I do think that you've come through my TikTok channel, right? I think.
Yes, yeah, I like and smash that like button on every single video.
Yeah, I try to avoid saying that, smash the like button, but it's very YouTubey, isn't it? But I guess, you know, I'm not a believer in debt when you're young, because I worry, especially mortgages. They're kind of the beginnings of a trap. And I know a lot of people don't agree with me on this, but it's the beginnings of a fixed monthly cost, which you then build upon. And once you have fixed monthly costs, it becomes quite difficult to start a business, because you have highs and lows in business. If you have fixed monthly costs in your personal life, then you need fixed monthly income, which means starting a business can get tougher. But just for the sake of playing it out, if you completely focused on iWired, that's what it's called, right?
Yes, yeah.
You completely focused on iWired, could you sustain your cost base? Or are you saying no right now, you can't?
Sometimes cash flow is good. Sometimes some months I'll have like really good income, and it will cover me for maybe 2 or 3 months. Other times there might be like a month or so in between where there's dribs and drabs, and then there's no cover there. But then the 3 months that I did do really well will obviously cover the months that I didn't do really well. So again, it has its highs and lows. Just before Christmas and that, I was super busy. And then it's quieting down again. It's picking up again. But it really, because it's just me running it as well after work, it really is down to the amount of effort that I put in as well.
And I'm assuming that this work is manual labor again. You know, there's an
That's it. Yeah.
doing, yeah. Because I mean, when I was 15 years old, I started a gardening company, and the reason I was able to make that business work is because I couldn't do the gardening, so I had to hire people. When you hire people, you have to charge, you know, appropriately to be able to then hire people. So part of me wants to say to you, you know, like, cash flow is one thing. So like, get a deposit in advance, try to get better cash flow going. And then the order side, you know, part of me wants to say, you know, like the plumbing company, I won't mention their name in case we get sued, but, you know, like build a business around, you know, not you selling time, but you buying time, right?
Yeah.
So instead of you being the person that goes out every night and does the bookings, that, you know, maybe you hire someone you can train up and you can mentor and maybe eventually even bring in to be a part of the business and create like a John Lewis co-op kind of model.
Yeah.
I don't see in the electrician space, actually. I might be wrong, but yeah, I wonder if that's the answer. Can you know, do two things: improve your cash flow by asking for more money in advance for bookings, and then, you know, scale up by bringing some people in to help you, and hopefully you can then quit your job and focus in on this, because I get the sense that's what you want to do, right?
Yeah. The goal is pretty much kind of what you've done. So I want to build a business where I can then help others and then employ more people and things like that. So that's ultimately what the goal is. It's always been there. I know there's like a big, massive burning desire to do it. It's just being able to do it because of the position I'm in. So as I was younger, I didn't really grow up. Like, I grew up in a council house and things like that. So getting a mortgage and things like that to me was success. But I was younger, and as I've grown older and a little bit more wiser, obviously, watching your videos, I completely understand it is a massive tie, and I've grown to kind of see that as well. So
it's very tricky. It's very tricky. However, I think things are a little bit different when you've got kids. I mean, you know, they need a stable home. I mean, I bought my first home at 40 that I lived in. I mean, I bought properties in a way before as an investment, playing around with investment, but to live in it, it is not. It's a liability when you live in it. And I've only done it when my son came along. And, you know, when you've got an 18-month-old and another baby on the way, I begin to, you know, soften my approach a bit. Age, you know, isn't really just about being young. It is about your situation, and you need to provide a stable home and a roof over the kid's head. So I do understand. It's just when you then get caught on this business side, because honestly, I mean, I don't know you, but I just get a sense that if you were able to focus purely on your business and maybe for a moment put the academic learning to one side and somehow, you know, put the full-time job on the side and focus on building your own brand and your own business, you're going to make it. And that's going to provide two things that are important, I think, more important than money to your family. One is a happy you.
Definitely, yeah.
Filled you, which, you know, I know my son, he knows if I'm happy or not. It doesn't matter what I tell him, you know, and the house he's in doesn't make him happy. What makes him happy is the parents around him filling their own bucket and being happy themselves.
100%,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so I want you to fill your own bucket. I love the fact that you're thinking long term about other people. That is admirable. I wasn't thinking that way at your age. I was very selfish in my 20s. I just wanted to build a business and prove that I could do it and be successful. And you know, I really wasn't thinking about anybody else. Maybe that's why I'm overcompensating now. But I think it's admirable that you're doing that and thinking that way. But you've got to fill your own bucket first, right?
Yeah.
You've got. I think you've got to get eye wired, like rocking and rolling. And part of that is applying yourself to the business model, because it can't just be you. That's not scalable. And applying yourself to things like cash flow, so you can meet your obligations and your costs. And sure, you know, part of that can be, can you reduce your costs? So I'm not a financial advisor, all right? There's other people that are good at financial advising. I'm a business a knowledge person, and what I know is the lower your personal costs are, the more you can spend on your business. And I'm not just talking about money out. I'm talking about the money you earn. You can reinvest in, for example, hiring someone. I know when I say to you, hire someone, what probably goes through your mind is, well, that's a cost, right? It's one more cost. That's more work I've got to win.
Definitely, yeah.
That person, right? So, you know, initially, if you can reduce your fixed costs, and I don't know if you can extend the mortgage, or you can go to an interest-only payment for a while, or do what I did, which is get more business, you know, like charge more. You know, I think people, my partner is a designer. And when I met her, she's just the most amazing designer. And I asked her, how much are you charging for what you just did? And it shocked me how low it was. Because when you do something, when you have a skill, I think you undervalue it. I think your type of craft is like that too. People are all looking at the market rate and they're not looking at what they're worth.
Definitely. I think I have a little bit of that. I kind of sometimes probably charge a little bit under what I should be charging just to win the work, because every time I go to a job to price it or whatever, I look at it and go, if I win this one, I'll get a good review, I can win more, sort of thing. And that's the way I've been looking at it for a little while, and it has been building a little bit, and gradually the prices are slightly increasing a little bit the more and more work I get. Um,
Mm.
so hopefully, yeah, it goes the right way. But like you say, I need to focus on progressing more towards iWired itself, I think.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of really interesting business people and knowledgeable people listening in. I'll just throw one up on here that interests me. It's just other things like, thank you, John, for your contribution. You could offer things like a reminder service, a yearly check service, right? That could help you with cash flow. If you said, look, I'll do your works, but every year I'll come in and check your home and make sure it's safe. I think you could charge a yearly fee for that, and that in advance yearly fee can build up a scalable business where it's not you then having to go to that house and check it. It's just the iWired certification service. I'm sure you thought of things like this, but I just found it.
That particular one I have actually thought of. There's a couple of ideas I thought of, but that is a good idea. I have thought of it. It's the logistics of offering it and the amount of cost, etc. For instance, there's a big firm out there, energy provider. They provide their own kind of home care service.
I'll just highlight, no one's ever approached me for that. And I live in quite a high wired, valuable property about showing off. It's not. I've never had anyone offer me that service. Just to say. So as always, these companies, especially these big companies, it's buried within their infrastructure. It might be there, but I personally never experienced it as a consumer. Just to mention it. I mean, also Luke, who actually he works at KPMG, big advocate on mental health. He's just thrown his thought into the ring and said maybe an online training platform for the trade. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a very good idea. Yeah, I mean, I'm completely open to offers. Like, I have no business knowledge whatsoever other than what I've learned. So any ideas is fantastic for me. Like, it's just, I couldn't ask for any better advice, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I definitely think with every business, it's just figuring out, the business model that's going to allow you to kind of scale it up.
That's the idea, yeah.
Someone else said, I haven't read this properly, but I agree with Luke. Some sort of portal for the electrician business with small commission would need to scale, but once it would be. I mean, there are things like TaskRabbit, right? There are a lot of these apps that offer the ability to get. Do you know TaskRabbit? You know what I'm talking about?
I've not heard of TaskRabbit. No.
It's a London-based app. I don't think it's that great, to be honest. But it basically, the framework's interesting, which is, I have a problem in my home and I go on this app. These people are rated by the users. Then I pick electrician, I press a button, a bit like an Uber thing.
Yeah, a little bit like.
And they turn up. And I think that that sort of thing. I mean, of course, don't want to throw too many ideas out there. I'm sure you've got lots of ideas, but 24-hour service, I think that's another thing that's definitely missing. So thank you, Shark. I gave you a lot of shit earlier today for your comment. So it's nice that you come on with something positive. But yeah, 24-hour service. I mean, that's also missing, don't you think?
Yeah, 24-hour. I actually do offer that. It's on my website. I do offer a 24-hour service. I very rarely get anyone calling or anything through the night, to be fair. What I find is I've struggled to get kind of a week's worth of work booked up because anything within a week or after a week, they want to go somewhere else. If you can't get there literally straight away, they'll go somewhere else. Which
makes sense in the space you're in. I mean, it might be a safety issue or whatever, right? I mean, that's why, you kind of need to go cold turkey on your job, really, and just, give it a proper focus. And I do know that's hard and easy to say and hard to do, but I don't know. I mean, for me, personally, I've taken a lot of risk in my life. And the way I've always been able to kind of justify it is two things. One, I've always got my partner's permission. So I've gone and chat with her and being considerate of her feelings and explain the risk we're about to take. And then you're in it together, right? And then there's no like, you just went and did that without me. Now, now we can't pay the mortgage. And, so I think, sitting down together and getting on the same page is pretty important. And then I think, frankly, just kind of getting excited about the business plan, getting excited about the things we're kind of discussing now, like what could be possible if you were full time. And if you know that you can't, I mean, it's amazing to me you're getting this work and you're doing it, what are you doing? It must be late evening or early morning.
I've literally not been getting home till 9, 10 o'clock most nights, literally
Yeah,
5, 6 weeks at a time.
Mental, and you're studying, and you've got a little baby, 18 months. It's just, I didn't get any sleep for the first 18 months.
I sleep about 4 hours a day.
Yeah, and that's not good for you. I don't care.
It's definitely not. No, it's definitely not good.
There's a saying I hate, which is the harder you work, the luckier you get. It's not true.
That's not true. One bit, I can vouch for that.
You will get sick. You got to take care of yourself. And so anyway, look, I mean, money aside, I think perhaps cancel a few things that you're doing and focus in on one or two things. Of course, I think your family is a must focus item, and then I think perhaps give the business a focus, and then your health. Keep an eye on it. Those are the three priorities, aren't they? So I can't help but say to you, please. I mean, your present employers, and I hopefully that if they end up listening to this, I wouldn't want you to get into any trouble. So I don't want to tread on anyone's toes. But can they help you? Can they support you? Are they? I mean, are they in the same industry? Would they see you as competition, or could they actually be a part of your solution? In other words, give you work until you've got your own business topped up?
It's a possible thing. Like I'm currently employed with them, but they predominantly work via like a subcontractor sort of scheme. Like, so they have over 300 electricians. They work through a subcontractor based kind of way, and they work on price work. So it's more units to do with like new build housing, high rise blocks of flats, things like that. So it's a potential. I could potentially go as a subcontractor with them, focus on kind of working on price 2 or 3 days a week, and maybe focus on my business 2 days a week until I can build it up a little bit more. It's a potential avenue that I could look down.
Because I've also found, I mean, I've always been self-employed from 15 really. So, but I've worked with a lot of brands that have talented people that work for them. I mean, I'm not saying I know enough about your industry, but my instinct is the people that have the company you're talking about right now, if you said to them you were setting up a company, maybe they'd invest in you. Maybe they'd actually help you. I mean, they, especially if you were going to go build let's call it a training facility for your industry.
Yeah.
I'm sure that would really appeal to them. Maybe they'd even be saying, look, we wanted to do that, but we haven't had time. Just thinking about that, if you could reverse engineer it back so that you don't burn a bridge, which I'm sure you're not going to, but you don't quit a job and that's it. Hopefully you say, look, I don't want full-time work because it's not paying me enough and it's not scalable. So I need to go build my own brand. I think any business owner would understand that. And if they don't, you don't want to be working for them anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
See if they can ease the pain. I've seen it before in businesses that I've invested in. The people that they were working for even invest in their business and kind of support them. And that's the best sort of boss. So just something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. That's a very good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess, what else at this point? What else do you need? What can myself and the community do to help you at this point?
Do you offer like further mentorship outside of like broadcast or anything like that? Maybe I can offer something for you in return, or maybe.
Funny that in short, I'm trying to offer scalable help to people right now. That's my mission, because a lot of people do ask me the same questions. So part of me thinks, broadcast it, and then those that don't know what questions to ask can hear someone like yourself ask the question.
Definitely. I think the broadcasts are very good, because I've watched some of them before, and there's questions on there that I would have even thought to have asked that then you answer. So they are very helpful.
Yeah, and I think, so what I'm trying to do is, if I've got 5 hours a day spare, I'm trying to do things like this so that the knowledge goes beyond just you and me and you getting help alone, right?
Yeah.
I think people will listen to you and be inspired by you. And hopefully later, as we tell your success story and we document it, people get more inspired by you taking that chance of doing your own business. And I think in turn that also helps people out there that are struggling. So this is the format I'm trying to work with. That being said, I do mentor 5 people a year, but I'm being a bit cautious about it, because I'm working really hard right now trying to build up scalable ways of helping people. Yeah. So I'm doing a webinar every week. I'm doing these lives every day. So I'm finding myself a little bit lacking in time. Plus, COVID doesn't help, because proper mentorship, you need to spend time together, because I'd need to tell you things that your limiting belief system wouldn't believe, and can be very sensitive. You know, even what we're talking about today is the beginnings of it. If I said to you, you know, get rid of your mortgage, you know, you go back and tell your wife that, but like, who is this guy? If you've got an 18-month-old and a baby on the way, you know, you just get rid of the mortgage. What are you talking about? Where are we going to, you know, we have to live somewhere, don't we? And so, I mean, I have to really get to know you, the intricacies of your life, and most of the people I've mentored become friends, and that's a good thing. But it means that it's a big commitment for both sides. So what I can say to you, Jack, I think right now what I can promise you is that, you know, if you send me an email, I will reply and give you help. If you come on and ask questions when I do these podcasts with others, I will answer your questions. And anytime you want to come on and ask questions like this, I will help you. I do private one-on-one sessions too. It's just getting a little harder to do those, just because I want the knowledge to get out right now in particular, because I'm seeing with COVID the impact really very much now. People are starting to, you know, the companies are starting to close. People are starting to lose.
I completely understand that. Yeah,
it feels like a very important moment, the next 3 or 4 months, to be available to a lot of people, not just one.
Yeah.
Hopefully, when COVID's behind us, I can go back to my old model. My old model was just mentoring 5 people a year. That's how I used to do it. And so it's just that COVID just brought this kind of new level of urgency of wanting to help more people at once instead of one-on-one only. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. That's the goal. Like you helping hundreds of thousands of people. So if it's kind of, I move on and help as well, then I can help hundreds of thousands of people as well. Then there's 2 of us helping hundreds of thousands of people.
Well, you go away and make your life the life you feel happy to go and tell people about, whatever that is, whether that's start your own business or you know, carry on with the job. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to help, right? But you know, whatever, and you come back and say that you figured out your perfect life and inspire people, and then share your knowledge with people that you're clearly picking up from the education you're giving yourself. Then that'll be enough for me. I just want, as you say, people like you who go out there and make it happen, to be able to come back and give the same to other people. So thanks for that, Jack. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate your time as well. It's good, to be fair. Like it's different for me. I've never done it before, networking and things like that. So it's nice to come on and sort of have a chat with someone as well that's been there, done it, sort of thing. So yeah, appreciate it.
You're getting a lot of love online as well. A lot of people are appreciating you, so that's nice to see. Is there anything else before I jump to the next person, Jack?
No. I'm sure I'll schedule another call with you sometime if you're free through your website. But yeah, I'll keep watching your videos and keep taking your advice. So thank you.
You're welcome. Nothing else at this moment. Just make sure no other questions you need to ask before I let you go, because it might be a few weeks before we speak again. So
no, that's okay. Yeah, no, you've answered everything that kind of I had some issues with. So yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, good luck with it, mate, and let me know how you get on. Okay.
Yeah, lovely. We'll do. I'll stay in touch. Thank you.
Bye, Jack. Payal.
Hi, Simon.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Sorry, I thought I wasn't sure if I should just log on a little earlier.
Oh, why not? Then it's always good to do the sound check and make sure everything works. Yeah. So, welcome. Thanks for coming on. I was just reading a little bit about what you're doing, but there's a lot of people listening in that want to help. So why don't you tell us what you're up to and how we might be able to help you?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, sure. Where do I start? So I am an embellishment designer. So these are the kind of things that I do. Don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hair accessories that I'm going to be designing, and it's really hard to find these kind of things online. So I did this as a hobby for many, many years. And then a few years ago, I thought of a fantastic name, and so it's Embellish London. So what I was going to start by doing was doing masterclasses, anything to do with, say, bridal parties or any kind of craft workshops that people want to just learn a new skill. And it's really quite something different. There's so many craft workshops out there, but nothing that on this kind of a scale where it's similar to couture, embellishment, beading, crystals, very, very blingy. So I changed the business concept a few times, and then I decided on hair accessories. So it will be bridal hair accessories, but there's also the fashion side of things. So these are some of the other crystal embellishments, but they're quite colourful. So I just wanted to really get an idea of like my target market. If I'm doing bridal, should I only be targeting brides, or can I also be doing hair accessories, embellishments on a really high scale, like really quality crystal, something different that you can't buy out there. So am I able to combine the high fashion side of things, where it's quite colourful, bright, and the bridal as well? And then the other side of things was baby hair accessories. So that's another one that I'll be doing. So headbands again, all related with accessories, but quite different sort of target audiences. And I just wanted your thoughts on whether I can combine the baby hair accessories with the bridal and then the colourful high fashion sort of thing, but all in that same sort of area of hair accessories. What are your thoughts on that? Or do I need a different, target them under a different business brand name?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things going through my head. One is I want to, well, one element of whether or not you should do something does come back to something personal, in the sense that, do you love doing all these things? And if you're doing them, clearly there must be some element of love to it. I mean, I think but I do worry a little bit when you have a completely different target demographic. But let's say you were doing bridal and you were selling those hairbands to the bridesmaids' daughters or children, then I can see some correlation.
Yeah.
And my personal feeling about building a business is, when you're marketing a business to a demographic, you really want to have one type of client. That's why I say, is it a B2B business or is it a B2C business? You know, that having a good target initially anyway. I mean, you can become B2C and you can become B2B, but having a target where you get your steady footing is quite important. I think the good thing about bridal is it's very focused. And of course, you know, there's all sorts of ways to reach brides these days. Magazines used to be the way, but nowadays, thanks to Instagram, there's all sorts of different ways to do it, right? And of course, throwing in some, I guess, baby accessories. Maybe people are getting married because they're going to have kids, right? So it seems to be a good reason to get married these days. And so sometimes there might be a need that your client that bought your bridal wear will end up buying your children's accessory item. Yeah. But initially, I mean, in reality, they're two different demographics, two different marketing plans, and two different strategies, I think, for probably pushing that business forward. The only common thread is that they have common thread. You know, they may be the same fabric or the same manufacturing back end, but the front end marketing is quite different. Is this your full-time job, and are you doing it on your own? How is it structured right now?
That's a good question. No, my full-time job, I work for the corporate arm of the NHS. So I manage trainee consultant doctors in training. So HR has kind of been my sort of, my 9 to 5. This is something that was a hobby that I've been developing. It's been really slow. Like, I started early last year, and I was advertising, or not advertising, I was going to do a show, a bead show. So I was going to be teaching there. So the teaching side of things was going to be my priority, but things have changed now. So I'll be, I guess, when we come out of COVID, when we start coming out, the bridal market will really, everyone's dying to get married, all the weddings that have been put on hold. So I'm just trying to gather sort of a following, and just increase my Instagram following and things like that, Facebook, and then just have to do a photo shoot and just start sort of getting those that content out there as much as I can. But I'll do what I can myself. And what I really get sort of fixated on is quality video content. It's really hard to get really good quality content on Instagram because everything gets compressed. So I'm still working on that, making sure everything's crystal clear. You can see the quality of the crystals, all of that. So I do everything myself. Some of these pieces take 6 hours. It's going to be luxury. It's going to be high end. I'm not going to be competing on price with it. In terms of my competitors, there's not really anything like this out there on the pearls, the crystals, the Swarovski, all of that. The stuff out there is quite traditional. This is sort of something really different, contemporary, and on the luxury end of things. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I'm trying to to build on, and I'm fairly confident once I'll be able to work with influencers, don't mind giving away freebies or things like that. And a lot of these girls, they're still managing to get their content out there, you know, amongst with COVID going on. They can still do that, so which is great. But Instagram Shop is something else that I'll have to tackle. Just getting that done. So I was contemplating going with Ecwid. I've got a Shopify store, but that's on pause at the moment. But yeah,
it's definitely interesting. I guess there's just backing up for a second. Is this something you want to do full time?
Definitely, I'd love to do this full time. Yeah.
Okay, and so what's stopping you?
At the moment, I guess just the technical side of things. I'm not that tech savvy, so just once I'm back online fully with my Shopify store or whichever one that I go with, it's, I guess, having the confidence as well to do it myself or get help from anyone in terms of the marketing side of things or things like that. I think that's what's stopping me. And then just quality content online. I'm stuck in perfectionist mode all the time because my work is so intricate. Everything has to be perfect.
Without knowing the ins and outs of your situation, but I think you need to bring in a co-founder, or you need to hire someone, and you need to kind of get some focus around it, because you can't make the product, I don't think, and market it and have a full-time job. I'm sure you've got a lot of family commitments too. I was just saying this before to Jack as well, and it's a common thread. You kind of got to give yourself a good shot at this, I think. Yeah. And so, there's two ways to go about it, right? The way I would do it, which is quit and focus, right? Go for it. 6 months from now, work, you will always get a job, right? I think you'll always get back to the type of job you're doing, very specialized. I think you'll always get a job again. 6 months, a year from now, your regret will be if you don't try and do it.
Yeah.
You always wonder. So that's one way, and that's the way I'll do it. The other way to do it, if you're more cautious and don't want to be taking such a big jump, is to hire someone to take care of the day-to-day for you, and put yourself almost like a, let's call yourself creator role, and then you have someone come in that's, let's say, for example, marketing. I'm getting a lot of great suggestions on here, about different things you could be doing, and I think these things are all great, but you need someone to execute them for you. You sound like a very capable person that could do a lot of different things, but that doesn't mean to say you should. Right, so if the uniqueness of this business is the product, and you're the person making the product, I think you have to hold on to that for now, and then get people in. Either hire someone, take some of your salary, and put it aside and hire someone, or try and get a co-founder which can invest and become a shareholder in the business with you, or give it full-time attention, and then start working out who you need as you build it up. But I do think I don't know enough about. I know quite a lot about the wedding industry, but I don't know enough about wedding dresses and hairbands for kids. My son, who's 3, I've just managed to pin his hair back. So it's funny, I'm using my wife's hairbands to pin his hair back. But I don't know enough about it to know whether or not you've got a market. But I do know that you're a very capable person. I can see that, but you cannot do 4 things at once.
I know.
Either, I think, hire someone to help you build up the business until it either generates enough money to justify quitting. Maybe, and I'm not a fan of it, but I also want to accept that not everyone can just quit their job and do it, or you just go for it. And I always tell people, working for yourself is far less risky than working for someone else. And the good thing about working for someone else is as I really believe that if you've got a job today, it's different if you're coming out of university with no experience, and right now it's really tough. But people with experience, you can find ways to make money, your own businesses, or get a job of some sort, right? You've got that huge experience in HR, which, by the way, I think you should leverage in your business. I think, I've always been successful because I think I transferred what I've learned in my previous business to the new business, even though they look like completely different businesses. In my case, it was marketing. I always transferred my marketing ability from business to business. I think you can do the same with HR. When I'd be thinking about, in your case, and this is a wild idea, but I'd be thinking about how you can manage all the people like you that have great products that aren't out there in the world that should be.
Yeah.
All the people like you that are making wonderful products that can't scale because they don't have a marketing department, or they don't have a good, strong sales team, or they, you could be the HR person that coordinates all of those people and helps them, right? That could be a way to scale the business beyond your own product range.
That's a really good point. Thank you.
And then you leverage your HR knowledge, and so you don't just dump it and go straight into manufacturing. You bring it with you into what you're going to do next.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess I just need to give sort of delegate a lot of the marketing side of things, because it's a lot of work. I have a spreadsheet full of hashtags and things like that, and it's never ending. Yeah, and it's really, really hard to build organically. But yeah, I'm going to try and find someone to try and do that. Yeah, I think that will really help. And we just focus on one thing. It's so hard.
What channel are you on at the moment? What channel do you like at the moment?
Social media wise, I really enjoy TikTok. Just and I guess Instagram, but Pinterest is really, really big for brides in the planning stage.
Totally.
And yeah, and especially with so many videos on YouTube and everything saying that it's still, it's not as popular as what Google was like when it came out. Early days of Google, it's not that expensive to advertise on there. So yeah, it will be really good once so planning it all out in my mind.
I mean, I would just one recommendation. I'm a marketing person, and you can go insane with the amount of different marketing channels there are and the amount of maintenance all these channels need. Okay. Focus on one channel and conquer it. And I can't think that TikTok could be good for you, because I can see you while you're making the product doing a time lapse and it being interesting. I think you could also, you could own the hashtag wedding dresses, and I do think there's a market there. And I think once you get attraction on something like TikTok, then other channels become more popular as well. So, focusing on one channel. However, I agree with you about Pinterest. I think that's a good one too. But maybe hire someone or just focus on one channel and bring a partner on to do the business development side.
Yeah.
So I think with your business, there's a market to do a B2B business, right? You can sell to wedding dress shops, for example. Or you can work with online stores that sell wedding products. So that's a B2B sales process. So that's another way to go. You're doing B2C right now, which is fine, but a lot of marketing required and a lot of luck required. Whereas you B2B, that someone else is already doing that B2C consumer marketing, right?
Absolutely. I'd love to get on some of the I forgot what they're called now.
Let's just call them Amazon.
Yeah.
Everything's Amazon.
Yeah.
Powered at least. But is that what you mean? Sorry.
Marketplaces. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Marketplaces. Yeah. I mean, the other thing. I mean, if we got into marketing, which is probably a whole different detailed conversation, which we don't have time for now, but it was mentioned earlier. Influencers is always a good way to go. But I think that referrals are the most powerful thing. If someone bought something that, the wedding pictures, they tag you in it. I think that's the best thing ever. People that are getting married, I don't want to generalize, but people that are getting married often have their friends also getting married. I went to about 50 weddings in the same 2 years that I got married, so it just seems that people get married at the same age in their circle, right? Not always true, but certainly then having someone that's had your product, love it, take the wedding pictures go up, they tag you in it. That's very powerful. So I think working on referrals would be a big thing that I would do if I was running the marketing on your business.
Brilliant. No, I will definitely look into everything you've said.
Great. Well, I wish you luck. Stay in touch. We're here to help. So if there's anything else you need, do let me know. And make sure you tag us next time you put something up, and we'll share it. Okay, perfect. I will do. I'm going to really force myself to be regular with posting on Instagram. So thank you so much. It's been really helpful. Pleasure. And do let us know if we can help you further. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. See you. Bye. Okay. Bye. Hi, Jerry. No sound. Oh no, it's always the way, isn't it?
You hear me now?
Yes, perfect. How are you?
I'm good. Am I in the camera and everything?
Yeah, you're in the camera. Yep.
Cool.
it was nice to come on your live the other day and hear you chatting to your friends. And so yeah, I knew you were coming on, so I thought I should do my research and find out a little bit about what you're up to. But welcome on. There's a few people listening in. Do you want to tell people what you're up to and what you're doing?
Yeah, so my name's Jerry. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Yorkshire in England, and I became a qualified makeup artist in 2020. But the catch is I'm also fully blind. I only have 20% remaining vision. And from that, I would like to create an accessible makeup range with like eyeshadow palettes with Braille, etc., to make makeup more accessible for everyone to use, not just for the sighted.
I love this idea. The first time I heard it, I think you commented it on one of my feeds about 6 weeks ago, and I remember it vividly. And it just really struck me as such a great thing. And we talked, I don't know if you remember on that live, I was saying, can you extend it into people that can see fully? You know, like there's this whole thing I mentioned before about restaurants you go in before COVID, where it's completely dark, and then you have a meal, and then how the rest of your senses get heightened, and you get to understand what it's like to be blind and empathize with that life, and also have an experience. And I thought to myself how amazing it would be if influencers used your product, closed their eyes and were able to work with it. But anyway, I mean, I about falling in love with my own marketing idea. What do you need? What can myself and the people listening do to help you?
Mainly, I'm gonna be honest, financial side of stuff.
Right.
Because I literally live off benefits with being disabled. It's been so hard to even try to get a job because jobs can be so biased towards that disability. It's too much extra work for them.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, and I'm not surprised. However, the work environment should all these days be so much more open. But it's not. It's still quite a selfish environment, isn't it? Really, people don't want to make the extra work. So I know what you mean. And when you say financial, let's talk about it for a second. What do you actually need? What's the status of the business now, and what are you trying to do next?
So I've made designs and I've made a PowerPoint explaining what my products are made out of and where they would be sold, that kind of thing. But I need to find manufacturers that can make the makeup and the palettes. So I also obviously have to pay for that and make samples. Yeah.
Okay. And so, I mean, I'm a big fan of things like crowdfunding. I do think you would have a really good crowdfunding campaign around this concept. Is this something you've thought about?
What, like Kickstarter?
Exactly.
Yeah, I have had thoughts about it. I'm just not sure how it works awfully well.
Yeah, I mean it's both complicated and simple. You can go on these sites and maybe go and check it out and go. Some great videos on there describing what people are doing, and some big money's being raised on those platforms. And I think it's an option for you because you've got a good story and a really interesting idea. And I think it could be a good way of validating whether or not people want to get behind the idea. And I think they, I think you'll do really well. I mean, Kickstarter, for example, is a pretty straightforward platform in the sense that they'll take 9% of the money you raise. So in reality, other than say making a video and doing a few things, it's not going to cost you a fortune. And if you raise money, then they take 9%, no big deal. If you don't raise money, it's not. There's no money lost. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The other side is there's platforms like Crowdcube, which are Seedrs and these guys. They're more equity-based crowdfunding. So in other words, you have a business idea and people buy into the business idea and take equity in your business for that money, which has its strengths and weaknesses. The downside is you can end up with a boss if you're not careful, if you don't structure it right. So you've got to be a bit careful. But if you get it right, you can have someone that might be a manufacturer, for example. They might own a factory. They might have the supply chain piece. They might be able to support you with the marketing. They might own a marketing business, and then they buy into the company and they bring a piece of the puzzle that you don't have, right? And so there's also kind of the angel investment, which is a similar model, equity. They take equity in the business. And so you've got a few options. I think in the early days of building a business these days, my preferred route is either you sell product in advance and people pay you, whether that's crowdfunding or direct, and you use that cash flow to make the product, or you ask family and friends to invest in you, because no one's going to know you better than your family and friends, and they're going to know your ability to do this. They're going to perhaps trust you. You know, you've got a relationship with your family, so you know, is there a way that they can support you? Now, I know that's not always easy either, but that's why I've explained, you know, Kickstarter could be good. The other one I think that might be worth you checking out is GoFundMe.
Mm.
I don't know if you
Because I
know
have that backstory of me being blind from birth and I want to achieve this. I've recently been in newspapers talking about me doing makeup, and I'm going to be in a women's magazine in about 2 weeks as well.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. Just make sure you've got a little microsite set up, a website, so people can go to it and maybe donate or support, right? Have you got anything set up yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, I mean, you can use all sorts of web platforms these days, and you know, I'm not going to promote any particular one, but you know, there are a few that are good, and you on platforms like Wix or GoDaddy, who compete with each other, they offer kind of like, you know, 1 month free.
Mm.
So you can actually perhaps even get a website up for this press coverage you're about to get, have it up, get the press coverage. Maybe from then, you know, when you're on TV, you need a website, right? You need to, people say, well, how can we get in touch with you? How can, you know, even people listening here, like, how can we help you? What can we do? You know, and that's a good thing about having a GoFundMe page or a Kickstarter page, is you can then direct the people that want to support you to that page to then financially contribute or buy your product, right? So you want to have something set up for things like the TV interview. I think this is very PR worthy, especially in this time right now where everything feels so doomy and gloomy. The fact that you're trying to start a business and it's, you know, I think it's very inspiring. I think a lot of people want to do a story on you, but you need to direct all that positive energy that you'll get into something that's going to create a tangible result, right?
Yeah, like get customers from that press sort of thing, from viewers.
Exactly, yeah, and you know, just go buy yourself, you know, a website address. Again, it's really cheap, and it shouldn't. It's not really easy to build a website as well. I'm shocked. I'm really tech bad, but I was able to build a website through the web builder systems on these purchase website domain name companies. It's so easy. Now I say that, and I say that from someone who can see completely, so I don't know what it's like. But that's another test, isn't it? But maybe you can get a friend to help you build it. I mean,
I started Wix, and because I've also got a level 1 in digital marketing as well.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah.
So I know about like putting the right headers and that type of stuff to get onto Google.
And that, by the way, is one of the biggest skills you need for doing a good crowdfunding campaign. You know, the marketing of crowdfunding is the key. A bit like you're doing with the PR. I don't think you'll have a problem raising the money. I think you just need to set up the structure to allow people to give you the money you need.
Yeah, and I found some creators I would really like to get in touch with. I've only just got to 1K, so I've only like been doing live for the last like 3 days. But there's an American woman who's really inspiring to me for makeup, and she's called Michaela. She's got, I think she's got like 1 or 2 million.
Wow, perfect. Yeah, I mean, that social media influencer support, I think, could be huge for what you're doing. And I mean, I think I mentioned it on the live before. You know, there must be my son has food allergies, and he can't eat certain foods, but they have a food allergy week where they try to make people aware of food allergy issues. I'm sure they have that for the blind, right? They must have.
Yeah, they must have something.
Yeah, and again, I mean, maybe working with the charities that support the blind and seeing if they will support you.
Yeah, I've got a local one called the Sheffield Royal Society for the Blind.
Yeah, I'm sure that they would just, right now, considering the kind of economic devastation and all the rest of it, they'd love to have someone they can, you know, support and push forward as kind of doing something unique and powerful and important during this difficult time, right? I think they would. Have you approached them?
Slightly, and they've known me since I was like 1, maybe 2 as well.
Wow, there you go then. Perfect. Definitely, you need to reach out to them and get them to help you with this.
And obviously, I'm going towards TikTok as well and trying to get supporters through that as well.
Am I following you on TikTok? I want to make sure I am. I am, aren't I? I am. Yeah, I am now.
I think you are. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am now. Yeah, I followed you the other day. But yeah, look, I love what you're doing. I would like to see you succeed. Maybe have a little think about the things we've discussed today, and then well, let me know if there's any other questions before we jump off this. But please stay in touch, and maybe in a couple of weeks come back to us with if you need any more help at that stage.
I'm gonna pop over to your live after as well, so people can get my username.
Oh sure, yeah. Well, you can. I can pop it up on the screen now. What is your username?
It's Jerry Mather MUA.
MUMATHER, right?
Yeah.
All one word, Jerry Mather.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up on screen, and I put it into the feed too, so people can see it. And so yeah, cool. All right. Wonderful. Okay. Well, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm inspired by you, and I'm excited to see what you do, and yeah, I'm excited to be a part of your journey. It's very, 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 very exciting.
I'm inspired by your story. You do loads of things to help other businesses when you could basically just make your own $1 million business and not even help everyone else.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have to do what we can do right now. If you're capable of helping people right now, I could, of course, just sit and watch Netflix, but it doesn't fulfill me. I enjoy helping people like you. It makes me feel proud. It makes me feel happy, and it makes me feel excited about the future when I hear stories like yours and what you're trying to do. So, it's thank you very much for your kind words, but thank you for giving me a chance to help you.
Yeah, I find your videos really useful. I literally watched them as soon as they come out.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I did a fun one today just to make people laugh. You can't be serious all the time on these things.
Definitely not. You gotta have a laugh.
Totally. All right. Well, lovely to talk to you, and I guess I'll see you on the live later. I'm going to go on for a little bit, but I've got a very busy day tomorrow, so I'm not going to be on too late. But maybe I'll see you over on the live in a few minutes.
Definitely.
All right. Pleasure to talk to you.
Same to you.
See you. Bye. There we go, folks. We helped 3 entrepreneurs tonight with their interesting issues and wonderful ambitions. I want to thank you guys for contributing. I can see so many wonderful comments. Appreciate it very much. John, great to see you on here. David, thanks for your input and support. Cyril, Luke, the Shark even. You guys all rock. Thank you so much. Real, sticking out your tongue with money on it. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm going to say thank you. And Gap, yay, thank you. And it's really nice, guys, to have you all here, coming on each night, trying to help people, especially now in this very difficult time. People trying to break through and start a business of their own or survive as a business. So want to thank you guys for joining and for trying to help as well. And I'll be back on live tomorrow and 8:30 p.m. doing the Q&A as we are doing now. And I will also be broadcasting throughout the day tomorrow on TikTok and YouTube, trying to share with you guys knowledge as it comes into us. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. And thanks again for joining. If you found it useful, hit that like button.